Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Karen Marsdale, President at the Greater Reading Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I'm here with another great new member, and maybe not so new at this point in time, for Member Spotlight. And of course, as all of you who listen in to what we're doing here, we like to just get into telling the story of our members and the neat things that they do, and also perhaps how the Chamber helps them in ways that can help sustain and grow their business. So I'm so pleased today to have Wanda Torres with us. Welcome, Wanda.
Thank you for having me here.
And we've gotten to know one another a bit, and I find what you do fascinating because you have a consulting firm.
Yes.
And it is, it's Want Consulting, as we see on the table. And what does Want Consulting stand for? Because I think I know.
Well, Wanda T. And I thought Want Consulting would be a catchy
It's
name.
catchy because we want consulting, right?
Yes.
And you had a background in the corporate world, essentially. And tell me and tell our folks a little bit in kind of layman's terms, because I have a whole list, and some of them I'm familiar with,
Okay.
of the types of consulting that you do. But talk a little bit about what, sort of big picture, what kind of consulting you do.
So I started my career in pharmaceutical companies.
Okay,
And
the
then-
pharmaceutical industry, big.
Then moved into medical devices manufacturing companies.
Uh-huh.
And I worked for the big names like Zimmer, Stryker, Johnson & Johnson. And I acquired this knowledge over the years, very, very technical. And
Right.
After many years, I won't tell you how many, I decided that I have something of value that I can do for myself and to benefit like smaller companies that need
Sure.
that kind of support.
Right. And, it's really, when we talked earlier, we've met through a number of different functions, particularly women to women, and through Mujer to Mujer. And I think it's fascinating, and I think I'm so thrilled that you're taking your knowledge that you've learned in a number of years of being in the pharmaceutical and medical device industry, and now applying it to smaller businesses or mid-sized businesses.
Yes.
And much of it is very technical, of course. When we talk about things like dimensional measuring systems, that to me is like a measuring cup, and it's not. Or Lean Six Sigma, which is process improvement.
Yes.
I do know that. So many of these things are very technical. Who would you say now, because you've got this just wide array of, your institutional knowledge, who would you say is your ideal customer today?
These big companies, they produce medical devices, or it could be implants or screws or instruments that are used for surgeries. But if we think about it, they need boxes, they need packaging, all kind of packaging materials.
Right.
They need cleaning supplies.
Right.
See, they need raw materials, they need metal, they need plastic, they need foam. And those are simple things that
Sure.
a big variety of suppliers are involved in that way. They are indirectly involved with that
Sure,
because they
certainly.
have to supply that. But these companies have big requirements, strict requirements for their suppliers.
Sure.
So I know many small companies that are perfectly competent and they could be supplying products to these big companies, but they don't know how to.
Right.
They
Right.
don't know what the rules are. What do I have to sell these small products to these big companies? Because they buy from food for their cafeteria, they buy everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they have to have a quality system. They have to have an organized system to handle the purchase orders, to handle their product, to handle their complaints. It's simple, but they don't know that because most of the consulting companies in this field are really large. And probably these smaller companies cannot afford that type of consulting. So I thought I will bring a solution for that from small suppliers to medium size that can provide goods and services to the big companies. What are the rules they need to follow to be able to qualify? I can help with that.
And that's wonderful. So I think you really hit the nail on the head, Wanda, when you said you are really supplying the solutions
Yes.
as well to these smaller and mid-sized companies who would like to get into a Johnson & Johnson or a Stryker or whomever. So aside from all of these other things that you're doing, you're also doing some translation services
Yes.
from English to Spanish. And you know, we hear so much in our world at the Chamber of a need for consulting services for a myriad of things. So that's another thing that you're very proficient at.
Yes.
And I think what you're also doing, which I think is really smart, is you are working with other people who might be able to supply some of these services in terms of consulting services, but you're kind of working in a team with people who are, you're sort of looking and helping the consultants, so you're working with other consultants as well.
Yes.
So, you know, that I think is exciting. But so you talked a little bit about, before we started the our conversation, about some of the things that have helped you through joining the Chamber, getting involved. What would you say some of those things are?
When I decided to start in the business, the people that I work with for all these years are people in corporate offices, people that are busy. So I find myself alone and outside and saying, I want to do this. Where do I start? I don't know people. I don't know where to begin.
Because your work, not to interrupt, but because your work, though you're local in terms of living,
Exactly.
your work always took you out of the county.
Yes, like at least an hour radius
Sure.
around my home.
So when you decided, I'm going to be in my hometown,
I
and
need to know people.
you need to know people. Exactly. So what happened?
So the Chamber is perfect for that because I go to these networking events and they have so many different type of events that I need to learn which ones are beneficial for my business.
Absolutely.
And I know that that's one area that I did not have any experience on. I didn't network. I didn't have to. I have everybody connected.
Right, exactly.
My office, but now I need to make connections. I need people to know. I need people to know the business. I need people to know me. So I need to learn to be a people person.
I think you are a people person, really. You don't give yourself credit.
I need to learn to interact. And some very good mentors in some of these events have said, you know, Wanda, networking is not about looking for people that you can get something from them for your business. It's just meeting people because you never know. You never know
Exactly.
when somebody's going to tell somebody else and I know someone that can help you. And that already happened.
Wonderful.
Yes, I had a call from a local marketing company, and through the Chamber, she said, I found that you provide translation services, so I need you to translate this booklet. And
Excellent.
I said, sure. I was very excited that she found me through the Chamber.
Excellent,
So,
excellent. And we talked a little bit about the fact that you also have been taking advantage, you know, as so many businesses don't, of the services that we offer that are really more the technical kinds of services through SCORE. And that's a chapter. It is not particularly, it is a national a national volunteer organization under the umbrella of the Small Business Administration. And I know we're needing to wind up our conversation here. It goes so quickly, you see. But I think that helped you too, right?
Yes, the SCORE office, they partnered, they put me in contact with people that were from the same background. And they
Excellent.
assigned 2 mentors to me, and actually 2 people that were very successful as consultants, very similar field they worked. So I had my business plan ready to implement, and I knew what I wanted to do.
Sure.
But they helped me focus, and they didn't tell me what to do. They asked questions and helped me reason.
They're great to do.
To find what really do you want to target as the market. What are your plans? Are you looking to be independent financially, or are you looking to have a big company that will grow and you will sell eventually? And I'm like, I never thought about that.
I never thought about that. Well, you know, this is exciting. I love it when a new business starts up and does the right things as you're doing. and I've gotten to know you a bit, and I'm just very excited for what we're going to see in the future with Want Consulting. So I really appreciate you being here today. For those who are listening, I want you to know that you can do it too, but as Wanda said, she did it correctly. She had a business plan. She sought advice. She sought mentors, and now starting to do well in her business. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to be looking for big things. Who knows? Maybe you will grow to that level where you're going to sell to somebody, but I don't think so right now. I think you enjoy the freedom of having your own business.
Yes, I do, definitely. And thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.